Hey everybody, this is B from Kongs R Us, and today we're going to do a live modding demonstration fixing your Arcade1Up Dragon's Lair. So yes, there finally is an audio fix, and the way you had to be able to fix this, the official way, is you had to take out your PCB, put it in a box, ship it to the Arcade1Up folks, and then pay 40 bucks. Once you did that, they would flash it themselves and ship it back to you, and you would have an audio fix that changes the sync of the audio to the video. So for folks that don't know what the issue is, there was um, you could tell there was delay, especially when you got to the final scene where the dragon and you can hear Daphne's lips and the audio sync. I think that's the most visual way you could have seen there was an issue. So when I first played this casually way back when I did my review, I didn't really notice it personally. Like I played the IR Arcade version and I'm not a super big Dragon's Lair audiophile, so I didn't notice it that much during my initial review. But as people pointed out, yes, I could definitely see it now. And I'm also the type of person, like, as you play fighting games, you adjust to whatever the controls are. If it's crappy buttons in an arcade, if you have some delay when you're playing online. So I've always adjusted to the audio. So this is just finally cool to be able to see it fixed. And how do we get it fixed? I shipped my PCB to one of our favorite guys in the community. I'm going to bring him on now, Mystery Encoder. How's it going, man?
It's going.
It's going. I'm back live with you. This is fun. We haven't done this in a while, right?
Yeah, it's been what, almost a year? Has it
No,
been since your last stream?
I don't even remember. I think it was probably one of the other mods where we did a live demo. So this is a rare occasion these days. It's kind of be fewer and fewer in between. I think you have a couple of things you're doing this Christmas time, and then hopefully that might be it for Team Encoder for a little while, right? Like, what do you have coming up in the next couple weeks to months for Team Encoder?
I'll speak for myself and say big buck.
Okay, that I know Vidbuck is one of the ones that I think has been on the books for a while. That was one of your original things you were working on, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So for folks that still have a big buck, that's nice. The other team members are, I saw Blitzmas stuff. I saw Fast and the Furious coming out with mods and
So Fast
things.
and Furious is out.
It's already out, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting on James Hated Everything to make a tutorial because none of the cool YouTuber kids had
He's cool
that.
enough. So today we're gonna be doing another fun live demo of Dragon's Lair. So the process for this, I mean, just tell me about this. When I ship you this PCB, the whole goal is that the rest of the community that didn't go that process of submitting a ticket, sending the PCB for 40 bucks and getting it flashed back to them, like what did you do to be able to make this available for the community to do on their own? Like what was that process like?
We had to dump it, and then we checked what they fixed, and then made sure that we could reintroduce that on a stock PCB.
Nice. So let's talk about kind of what the issue was and what you found on side of it. So I'm going to share just a couple of screenshots that you shared with me about what that original issue was. So let me pull this up, and we can take a look at those files. Dum, 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 dum. It's been too long since I've done this. I'm like, I'm out of practice. I'm like, what do I share first? Do I share this thing? All right, so this is a list of the files when we dumped it or when you dumped it. What are we looking at here? Can you explain this for folks that don't know what they're looking at?
So it's a comparison of the files that existed on the stock PCB versus the one that you sent to us.
Mhm.
And on the left side, we can see the old, it's a partition. So it's kind of like if you put a SD card in your computer and it mounts, it's just a list of files. So on the left side, we can see the old one. On the right side, we can see the new one, and it's showing you what's been modified between them. And it looks like what we found was modified was the OGG file, which is kind of like an MP3. And you can see that they've had this since what, July 15th of 2022 was when they actually did this fix.
Yeah, I mean, so that's really interesting because I mean, this was released around May of 2022, and so just a few months later, they already had this, but they just didn't find a way to implement this. Is that kind of like what you're deducing from the dates?
I don't know if it was that they couldn't find a way to implement it. I can't speculate on that, but all we know is they had a fix since July and didn't give it to us.
That's interesting. So 2 years later, plus we finally have a way, and the official way, like this has been around, I would say, even since the summertime. Like this was available several months ago for people to ship their PCB in. So I went through that formal process. I paid the $40, got a ship sent back to me, and I do feel like in the past they did share patches with the community to fix their Pac-Mans or the Arcade1Up pinball mod, which kind of enabled some of this stuff. So maybe that's the reason why they weren't putting out the flash or the the file to fix this, but now we've made this available, so hopefully people won't have to go through that. I see a couple people in the chat saying that they still have to do this, and you shared another picture here that shows exactly what the issue was. So there's so many speculation things about, was this hardware, was it the sync, how long is this, like what was the fix? So explain what we're looking at here for folks. What did you find out from the audio?
So if anybody's familiar with Audacity, we opened both tracks in it and sort of compared what they changed between those tracks, and it looks like they literally just put a delay, or rather removed a delay from the audio,
Hmm.
um, where they made it start sooner. So if we look at the bottom track, you can see that the effects have actually been shifted backwards, or
Hmm.
no, forwards actually, by about half a second. So all they did was re-encoded the audio with a half a second delay inside of the audio file.
Nice.
Which that
So
one guy, do you know what that one guy's name was? I think it was Chuck or something.
yeah.
He kept saying it was the frame file in Daphne or something, and you and I tested that years ago at this point.
Yeah, you did something
Definitely
else
was not
to
the
just move something, and that didn't
Yeah,
quite work.
definitely was not the frame file. I think it made it
Mhm,
worse.
mhm.
But so ultimately, yeah, it looks like they just moved the audio back by half a second in their version of what I would call an MP3.
Yeah, so this is kind of what happened on the back end. So, not only did we find what the issue was, now you've created an installer to be able to flash this PCB. So what we're going to do is we're going to first plug this back in because you flashed it back to its original stock. So one, I want to verify that it's still working. Then we're going to demonstrate how to install it using, all you need is a PC running Windows 10 or 11 and a micro USB cable that hopefully works. Nothing special about the cable this time, right? Like, no need anything fancy.
It has to be a data cable, not a charge only. So like a lot of people with countercades run the same
Mm,
chipset as this.
I see.
We always see that issue where they plug it in and they're like, "It started normally. Why did it power on? My computer's not
Uh-huh.
connecting," and it's because they're using a power only cable.
Is there any way to tell by looking at the USB cable itself if it's a power
Unfortunately, I
cable?
don't think so.
Huh?
I said, unfortunately, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, I have no idea if this is a power cable or not. This might be one that came from a Fire Stick, so who knows? This could
Uh,
be
Fire Stick should be data, I think, but
could
you
be
never know.
data. Okay, good, good, good.
Uh,
Just double checking because sometimes you
I'll
never know.
I'll make sure this time around that we list a cable from Amazon
Just
on
in
the
case. All
page
right,
when we
appreciate
post
that.
it. Yeah, so just in case people need us to cable, they don't go buy
Mhm.
20 of them.
Yeah.
We'll list one we know works. So
Yes.
hopefully that.
And so after this video, I will put a link to teamencoder.com to be able to see, this file. So right now it's not available just yet, but shortly after this video, if you're watching this on replay, you'll be able to follow along yourself. So the only thing that you're missing, by the way, that you didn't get from this, I got a very fancy Arcade1Up sticker, not just one, but two official Arcade1Up stickers. This was in the return package. So
I'll link to one of those websites that, like, prints them. I'll be
no,
like, "Just to
no,
make sure you
you
get your
will not.
included sticker, go here."
Authentic experience. No, I got my official Arcade One Up sticker. So, um, yeah, that's funny. But anyways, the $40 did include return shipping. So, from a fee standpoint, like I don't think it was too much, but it still sucked that this was the only option to get it fixed. So hopefully this will help out those in the community out. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on a couple different cameras and show off where my Dragon's Lair is at currently. So my Dragon's Lair at the moment, um, is heavily modded for folks that have never seen my Dragon's Lair cabinet. I did a lot of things to it. I added a second monitor. So this is replicating kind of that CRT that used to be on the top of the Dragon's Lair. I've also done a lot of stuff with the control panel itself and did it with the scoreboard and the speaker screen. So I am really happy with this. This is the audio that will fix the final piece of it. I have it on the Buy Stuff riser. So that's why you see all these extra things in the back. That monitor was plugged in using a Geek Worm and then using a splitter from that to be able to go to both screens. So it works about, I'd say 60% of the time because there are some issues with that. You've actually discovered some of those issues with the Geek Worms pushing images out. Like, can you explain why there's issue with that for a second while I get this set up?
Um, it's kind of There's an unstable refresh rate, it seems like, where the monitors don't deal with that well. What we did find out is there are specific monitors that don't care that because it's almost like the signal drops, right? And so that's why the monitor cuts out. But some monitors are somehow tolerant to that.
Yeah, so it's really monitor dependent. So what I'm doing is, again, as you pick out and fix your Dragon's Lair thing, I just have all these extra wires here. That's why stuff is hanging all over the place. But everything else should plug in that normally just back the same. You got your scoreboard that's going back into the top.
Well, they shouldn't have to remove this either.
What's that?
They shouldn't have their PCB removed at all.
You do not have to remove your PCB from your cabinet.
So that's the other advantage to this, is that in order to get Arcade1Up to fix it, they actually had to remove their PCB and ship it out. With our stuff, they don't have to unscrew it at all.
There's on the bottom of the PCB a micro USB spot right over there next to the power. So that's the micro USB cable that you're going to plug in. So as you just attach this or just take off the back panel, you would just plug in a micro USB cable into your PC. And then I think we're going to play around with the off and on switch. I think we have to move this to one of those sections. So we're going to test it out. We're going to make sure that this still works for the first time.
Something to note about that switch too is that in a lot of cabinets now, they're hiding it under a QC sticker.
Oh, really? That's right. So you really have to remove that sticker.
Well, I just dig into it. But I mean, you saw the picture of my PCB versus yours where the sticker was there. I think I showed you that picture. I know I showed it to James Hates Everything because I was showing him that he's like, there's no flash switch on my Fast and the Furious. And I'm like, no, there is.
You just got to remove the sticker.
Yeah.
And I think I removed stuff in and out so much that my JST pins are not lining up as easily as they used to because I've been plugging things in and out. I blame you, Mr. Encoder, that my pins are slightly off. Did you plug this in? So you have a Dragon's Lair at home too? So you're able to do this on your own PCB as well?
I haven't flashed my PCB actually.
Oh, you haven't? So yours is still stock.
Mine's still sitting on my desk. My Dragon's Lair is down.
Okay, so I am I bent some of the pins. No, this is why I don't do this live. Something always happens wrong when I do this live.
What pins did you bend?
What's that? These are the power cable. Oh, you know what? I'm plugging it into the wrong section. That's why. Dumb. I was plugging in the 5-pin into the 4-pin thing on the bottom.
Oops.
This is why you don't do this live. Do not.
Oh, you were plugging the LVDS backlight into where the SD card is?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's done. That's why I was like, this is not lining. Okay, and if you ever have to remove this, and if you did ship it back, one of the things is, the LVDS has a little red line, so that always goes normally to the left side of the 30-pin LVDS connector. Again, if you're doing this and you haven't removed your PCB, you won't need to kind of undo this at all. But if you shipped it back, make sure you do take pictures of this because they didn't actually include any other pictures of reinstalling it back. So I always figure there could be somebody that messes up that step and doesn't.
Yeah, the red goes towards the backlight power, doesn't it?
Yes, correct. On the left side. All right, so this is the.
Yeah, there's a little arrow. If you're looking at the LVDS connector on a lot of them, there will be an arrow or a dot where the red goes on all of their PCBs.
Okay. And then this is what I messed up on and plugged in this little 4-pin thing. I don't even know what this thing is for. I think it's audio or something. All right. So I plugged everything in. Oh, and then there's a USB on the top, isn't there, for the the marquee.
The marquee, it has its own separate power. It's not.
And then the USB on the top really isn't used for anything. That's just an extra thing. I use it as a power source for my little coin doors. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get this plugged in.
Stock Jock said he didn't have to use the power. He only used the USB.
Okay. Turn this around so you guys can see it.
On that Geek Worm thing too, we tested everything from HDMI repeaters to pretty much anything we could put inline to try to prevent it. I think I spent over $700 trying to fix that on pinball, on just random stuff to try to fix it.
All right, let's just double check and make sure everything turns back on and
What
powers
did you
on.
do to your speakers?
What's that?
Your speakers look weird.
Yeah, no, this is a mod. This is a mod that was done by Hobby Hands. This guy in the community made an update to the speaker panel to make them square instead of round. And then he updated this whole faceplate too to make it more accurate to the original thing.
It's kind of ugly. I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of what?
Ugly.
Don't lie. It looks more like the real thing, man.
I said I'm not gonna lie. The square looks ugly.
That's what the original one looks like. Your face
Well, then
is
the
ugly.
original was ugly.
Oh man, but it's just magnetic. It's cool. It's like
I understand people wanting the original. I get the aesthetic.
Yeah, yeah. All right, my alphanumeric display is looking a little funky though. It's just showing 8.8.
This looks like it's taking too long to load.
Yeah, and it's also just stuck on the loading screen. That's not supposed to happen, right?
Maybe just flash it. I don't know.
Did you flash mine back to the original?
I did, but it's not loading, so you might as well just flash it again.
I wanted to see the original working, man.
Well, I don't know. It's corrupt somehow.
Thank you, Mr. Encoder, for corrupting my PCB. So, all right, should I try it one more time? Should I turn it off and on, or you think it's corrupted?
You can try it one more time.
Right, let's try it. All right, I'll leave it for 5 seconds.
I hope it wasn't broken. I asked you. So, Beast had this since Thursday, so everybody knows this isn't my fault, and he didn't test it before this.
I trusted you. They flashed it back to stock. All right, like everything loaded up. So I think this is gonna work now. I think it's gonna work.
Did it load up last time?
No, the last time the alphanumeric screen like just went to 8.8. It didn't show up everything, but now it's still stuck on the loading screen.
Yeah, I might have like flashed a corrupt flash or something somehow.
All right.
What I thought was stock might have been some bad thing that I created. I don't know.
All right. Well, yours should not be doing this because you didn't have to.
But if it does and you reflash it, maybe it'll fix it.
All right, so let's reflash it then. So I was going to demo that it actually worked. I just wanted to test it that it's working. Okay, so at least it's plugged in. Now we got to take the cable. There's always something, huh? There's always something.
It never goes well.
This never goes well. I don't know why we do this live because I think it's terrible.
Has there ever been a time where we didn't have issues?
Well, that's the thing. You want to see some of these, and the people that are following along are like, "Why does your cab look so crazy and different?" Just no, because mine is stuff. All right, so all I'm doing is taking the USB micro USB cable and plugging it into the slot next to the power.
Well, wait. Did you move the flash switch already?
I did not. So I should move it to the down position.
Yeah. So move the flash switch to down position, unplug power, and then plug in USB.
Okay. So we're moving it down. All right.
I hope something else didn't get corrupted somehow.
I hope so. And so does the installer have the file when it's uploaded, so people don't have to download the file separately, right? It's all in the installer.
Yes, everything should be in the installer.
Okay, so I flipped the flash switch to the just so people can kind of see what I did here as a live demo. I took the PCB and just so you can see it, there's a little on-off switch right here. It's normally in the red camera angle. It's normally in this up position, so I just moved it down, and then afterwards, you unplug it completely from your power, and then the micro USB cable is going in right there. So that is.
There's no SD card in there, right?
There's no SD card in currently.
Okay. No. Was making sure I didn't leave that in because that could also cause the loading screen.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna take our USB cable, plug it into our PC. And if this all goes well or bad, I will redo a video, a clean version of how to install this. But yeah,
if it still doesn't boot, there's something else we have to reflash that I might have changed.
Okay, so once it's plugged into the PC, let me put it on my PC. Let me get back over here.
But this at least gives people an idea of how to install it, even if yours doesn't turn on after this.
It's still turned on. What the heck? I can hear it.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. You need to unplug the USB, unplug the power, and then put the flash switch to the off position, and then plug in the USB.
Thought I did that. Okay. All right. It was just.
If it doesn't connect to your computer, that means the micro USB that you're using is a power only cable and it's actually powering it up.
Okay. So I was going to remove that. No. Let me go to this screen here. Okay. Okay. So I heard some sound, so I got to do that again just to double check.
What? Well, launch MDF and see if it connected.
Okay.
You heard sound out of the computer or out of the cabinet?
Yeah. Out of the cabinet.
Oh.
Okay, so the file here is called MDF. It comes in as a file, and then once you unzip it, it'll go into this folder. So you have a tools, and then a mystery dragon flash is the name of this file. So woohoo! Congrats for coming up with the fancy title for this. But it's simply just a dragon's lair mystery tool. So should it read anything here? Log. Should I click on upside down? So it says PCB not detected or driver not installed. Please install driver and plug in USB with the switch on the metal case. Switch to the off position. Oh, I think it was in the off position before.
The flash switch?
Yeah, maybe you sent it to me and left it in the on position.
Oh, that's possible.
And so I should have.
Because it has on the PCB. It's
correct.
If you look
so
at
maybe
PCB,
I switched it. Maybe
like
that's why it wasn't
embossed
working in the first place. So
maybe.
Right.
I don't know.
All right.
Fun.
Let me try that again. One more time. Okay.
Live modding at its best.
Live modding at its best. Okay, so if it's in the on position right now, that means it should be.
So if you unplug the USB and plug in the power, you should see it boot normally.
Well, I just want to actually see if it like boots up properly.
Yeah.
But if it's in the off position, should it have even done anything? Look at that.
Yeah,
It's
so there you go.
working now.
That was the problem. Is because I flashed it to you with the off position still set.
And then you sent it to me that. Oh, so you suck. All right. So look. All right. So Dragon's Lair is working properly. So
It's
that's
not my fault. You didn't make sure the switch was in the right way.
I don't remember which way the switches go.
But it's marked as on the PCB. So 8-Bit Informer said he had to remove a wire to get it to boot, and he probably had the same issue. He probably removed the flash switch wire.
All right. So, anyways, Dragon's Lair is working properly. I just want to demonstrate that. So that this issue of so you should have this all working. We're gonna go back in here. We're gonna turn this off. We're gonna go back here and switch it to the off position. Sorry, that's what I meant to do. So right now I'm gonna unplug it, the power.
Yeah. You people are complaining that they can't see your camera well because you have your desktop as the main thing.
Oh, well, let me fix that real fast. Sorry.
I'm diverting to my child and asking him if he thinks this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one more time. We're taking
If it doesn't work, is it mine or B's fault?
It's your fault, 100%. Or maybe.
No, I'm asking my kid that's sitting with me.
Bees.
Okay, so we're moving this into the off position to flash it.
He says if it doesn't work, it's your fault. Just FYI.
All right. Well, nothing I can do about that. All right, so it's in the off position now for flashing purposes. And we're gonna plug it back in, and then plug in the USB cable. All right. The order? Does the order matter?
Wait, what? You're gonna unplug all of the things.
Yes.
Put it into the off position with all of the things unplugged. All of the things being just the power and the USB.
Yep.
Putting it into the off position, and then plugging in only the USB. You don't really need power.
I don't need the power at all?
No, not in the off position.
Okay, I'm going to unplug the power then. So it's just the USB cable and then the off position.
Yep.
All right, and then we're going to plug that into the PC. All right. Back into the PC. Should I hear any sound thingies from the PC?
The ding ding ding.
Maybe it's muted. Oh, my sound is muted on my laptop, that's why. Ooh. What was
Well,
that because
you'll also see it connect on the app.
on the app? Okay. 1 second. Add to stage. There it is.
The only thing I can't remember is whether or not you need to flip the on switch after.
All right, so we have it plugged in. We're trying to see. You're saying the cab needs to be in the on position?
It might need to be. I don't remember.
All right, PCB detected and driver installed. You can now install
Oh,
drafts.
okay.
Thank you to B Kong of Kong's Arrest. This wouldn't have been possible without him sacrificing, donating his PCB for research. Don't worry, he got it back, and you all got the fix for free. So there it is. That's Mystery Dragon Tool Flasher. So if all was working correctly, you'll see this screen here. If you haven't, because I've used this PC in the past to install things, you would have to click this step 1, install drivers. So the very first time somebody does this, they would click this button first. Is that right?
Yeah. Is there
Okay.
any way to make it bigger? The text isn't legible to us.
I can zoom.
See, look, you're not even using the recommended setting. There you go.
Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So PCB detected, driver installed. You can now install. So that's what it says. And again, if you've done this for the very first time, you would click on install drivers here. Otherwise, you would click on flash update to PCB. All right. So we're going to click this. How long does this take? Do we have to sit here?
I don't know. It's a BCong live modding stream, so probably a couple hours.
Oh, I literally have like 10 minutes.
I don't think it's gonna take that long. I'm just
okay. All right. So it says uploading new update. Do not interrupt this. Writing the LBA from file, and it's at 1%. All right. So this is where we start finally talking to the chat and seeing what's up. So some people fear bricking their cabinets or making it so it doesn't work. Is that possible with this? Like kind of give people some confidence that this is a fix only and it's like near impossible to hurt your PCB.
So it is a complete flash of the entire partition. So it's almost like you're reflashing a USB card, or an SD card. So the chances of bricking are minimal. If it doesn't work, you can always repeat it.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not like changing any certain files. It's kind of rewriting the entire file system essentially.
It is the entire file system.
It is the entire file system.
Why it's safer.
Yeah. That's good. So you can't get people messing up single files and things. So what you did
even if
before,
you did interrupt this, you could just rerun it.
Yeah. And when you're talking about like what you fixed before, you actually went in and tried to just move a frame rate file, right? And then when I tried it on my cabinet, it was like absolutely like unplayable. Like it was syncing was all over the place. And so once we get this back, I'm actually I uploaded some videos showing the old stage issue. So while we're waiting, let's watch that so you can kind of get a sense for what the original issue was. So this is the original Arcade1Up file final scene that I played and shot some B-roll of, showing the audio sync issue, and I'll stop it after Daphne. So let's watch this.
Please save me! The cage is locked with a key. The dragon keeps it around his neck. To slay the dragon, use the magic sword.
All right, so it was hard because I was recording like the audio from my phone as well, but you could still see some of the lip sync off. And I think that's the main place people saw the issue. When you first played the Dragon's Lair, did you notice this audio issue at all? Like just kind of from your experience?
But I half-ass playing all of this stuff, so
yeah,
I'll play it for 2 seconds, be like, cool, I got a new piece of artwork. Like
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are a shallow arcade collector. Do you actually play your arcades at all?
Sometimes. Ironically, I mostly play on the arcade to play Truxton. That's about it.
Truxton, like the shooter, like the shmup.
That's one of my favorite games.
Yeah,
me and my kids compete with each other on that to see how far we can get.
Yeah, that's one of the harder shmups out there. I like it. That's one of the ones where like if you die, you like start from the beginning, right? Like
I think only if you lose all your lives.
Okay.
You have 3.
Oh, okay. You do respawn certain areas? Okay. I remember doing like high score challenges for Truxton. It was like just stupid hard.
So Stock's saying this will probably take 20 minutes based on
I
when he
know
tested.
it's at 18%. Okay, well, while we're waiting, I also did do. I was gonna play through it, and I did get the PCB back, and I tested it from Arcade1Up, and then shot the finished video as well. So in order to get to the final stage, I usually play on unlimited lives because I'm not like super perfect to get there in 5 lives. If I was playing on the iArcade and it had arrows, I would be 100% perfect. But on the original one, timing is a little bit off. So here is the new file, which is the fixed audio that was the stock Arcade1Up PCB. Sorry, the returned PCB that I got from Arcade1Up when I plugged it back in. So I'll go ahead and play that one so you guys can see that. We'll save some time watching this as well
Oh, please save me. The cage is locked with a key. The dragon keeps it around his neck. To slay the dragon, use the magic sword.
So the place where I noticed it, and I actually showed my kid too that's sitting with me right now, was that because I was showing him, he asked me what I was doing when I got your PCB, and I was like, well, look, when I turn the cabinet on, it does this. In the attract mode, there's this coin hit that happens, like the stack of coins or whatever. If you pay attention to that coin hit, you can hear the coin sound before the coin pile falls.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you could even see it in different places too.
Yeah, so the attract mode was the way that I saw it the most because I didn't want to go all the way to the end of the game to make sure that I had the fix going or that it was working or whatever.
That's good to know. Like, I'll look for that. Another scene where I saw that there was kind of very noticeable differences between the flashing and the sound is the whirlpool stage when you're kind of doing Yi whirlpools and then the door flashes and then you can kind of half a second later hear the sound after the flash. So that was one of the ones like, oh, you can kind of like I just adjust eventually, like listening to the sound versus the visual. But that's another stage to look out for. So let me know in the chat. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think the whirlpool was what Chuck called out.
That's the one that he noticed the most. Yeah, so that's like Chuck Bridges.
So,
yeah. And if there's other stages that people can, call out for people to test this, if you've never gotten to the end stage, it takes me about maybe like 10, 15 minutes of gameplay to get to the final stage using unlimited lives. Like the stage portion that I hate the most is the one with the clay men and they're like the little poofs. Do you know which stage I'm talking about? It's like the orange stage. Have you ever played Dragon's Lair to the end?
Not to the end, no.
Okay. Well, you have unlimited lives, by the way. So you should.
Yeah, I never turned it on. I laughed when I saw that turned on yours when I plugged it in because I plugged yours in to make sure it was working after it got shipped because you shipped it in the greatest packaging ever.
Super great packaging, right? I mean, that's what they shipped it back to me too. I can forget what I shipped it to them in, but I think they just shipped it back in the same box.
So I plugged yours in and I made sure it worked, and then I noticed you had infinite lives and stuff enabled, and I forget what I was trying to do. There was something I was trying to do, and it wasn't. Oh, that's what it was. For whatever reason, my audio wasn't working. Remember, I told you I was like, "Hey, why do I only hear one side of the tracks?" And I think my aux cable came disconnected or something.
Oh, okay. So there wasn't a real issue with the sound then afterwards.
No, it's weird. They when you were looking at the Audacity thing, you can actually see that the music is in one track and the sound effects are in a different track. So I was only hearing the music. So it's like left and right channel. So you only hear the hits and the effects from your left channel, and then on the right channel is the music in the background and stuff.
I see.
Okay. So that was a weird issue.
Yeah. Well, we're at 40%. So that was about 9 minutes ago. So we'll probably have another 10 minutes left of talking through. Let's just go through some of the chat and see if there's anything that I missed from the very, very get-go. I'll just say hi to folks that might still be here. Gramps Arcade says hello. We've been waiting for this. James Hates Everything says there they are. Mystery Encoders. Good afternoon. It's been too long. Yes, it has. Thumper Squid is here. Says my Dragon's Lair needs fixed yet. So this is very interested. Very good. Stockjot said he's already done this. So you at least had another person test this out. So did you send him the MDF file and he just fixed it on his own as well?
Yeah, he
feedback?
did the flash the same way you're doing now and made sure
Very
it worked.
cool.
And then
Nice. Thank you, Stockjock. One of the nicest guys in the community. Absolutely. So awesome. Love him. Jason Alien says he'll be certainly installing this. Good to know. James Hates Everything will do that as well. It's trial and error. Guys, the corner gate is here. James Hates Everything says you had to remove the QC sticker. We're talking about that on the flashing thing. B has a pinball hands now. I do a lot of pinballing, so you can even see on the screen right now. I've been running a pinball league-ish now. So yeah, you should get out there, Mr. Encoder, and play some pinball. It's fun.
what are a pinball hands?
I don't know what a pinball hands are, but you know, it's slapping. You gotta slap.
No, but does that mean that you're like incapable of doing things on smaller things?
I have no idea. Like, explain to me what a pinball hands are. When I did this mod, I actually had it unplugged the whole time I flashed it. There was enough power going from the micro USB power to the PCB. So yeah, it's good to know. And funny because I do these mods live with you and I've done tutorials, but people will still ask me troubleshooting questions about like Pinner from like 3 years ago. And I'm like, I have zero recollection of how to do this again. Like what the screen or the micro USB. And I'm like, I'm always redirecting like, go here, go talk to Ben Michael James Cross.
The best place for support for any of this stuff is our Discord, right? Like we try to post FAQs there. We have a bot that auto responds. Zoltan will curse at you once in a while.
Yeah. So that's good. I always direct people there, but there's always a handful of people. I'm still surprised. And people, because I've modded stuff in the past, will ask me random questions about modding that I have like zero idea about. Have you ever used an Acer LT26 screen? And which type of board would I use for this mod? I'm like, I don't know. And then one time I was like, Bobby Vu might know. And he's like, I asked him, I didn't know. Do you know? I'm like, no. But you probably get weird requests too. Like, what's the weirdest like random?
We get weird messages on Facebook sometimes. Like I still get requests for infinity tables. Some guy goes, "Have you guys hacked the infinity table?" And it's like, you're about 2 years too late.
Yeah, it's done, right? Like I think somebody got mad at me.
I mean, we stopped doing it because it's not worth it, like to keep up with, because you have to be updated to get their new content, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't want to play cat and mouse. That's not
It was like a one-time deal. I even have it in my video. I left it up for historical purposes, but I said does not work currently. And somebody was like, somebody commented recently on that Infinity Cable video that says, this guy is one of the founders of Arcade1Up. His name is in the Infinity game table, and he has the audacity to say that this thing still worked. And I was like, and I responded, I was like, wow, you found the Easter egg. I paid $1,000 to be a part of the Founders Edition to get my name as a credit from the Kickstarter.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't kickstart more stuff if they kickstarted that. Like, give us some arcade cabinets to kickstart, man.
I mean, there's so much potential from Arcade1Up that, you know, in its heyday could have done some things. And, you know, I think they hit 1 million on that campaign because sometimes it's like number of backers, right? But like this one was just like, I think it was just monetary. It was just like, if we had $1 million on this campaign, it's funded. And it was like, it got there quickly. So, yeah.
And then what was the other one? Oh, we had somebody ask us if we sell pinball PCBs recently. Apparently we just manufacture and sell that stuff.
You're stockpiled in your warehouse of all the PCBs.
I don't understand why somebody would think that we sell that stuff.
I'm sure you still have like a shit ton of PCBs lying around though, right? Like just a junkyard of
most
stuff.
of them are like broken and stuff. Like we bought broken PCBs off of people just because like we want to investigate and see if there's a way we can fix it.
See, so like, James Heads Everything says exactly. It was definitely Mystery Encoder, not be plugging things into the wrong ports. I mean, Mystery Encoder totally deleted all my arcade games, so it's happened in the past. I don't want to give you shit for that. Like you have been responsible for breaking my shit. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised.
The wrong button. That's
I stand by the fact. I'm following your directions.
C button, you press the B button. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's documented on every MII board that you did that. So I mean that was one of the best Easter eggs ever. Are you still working with?
Did that.
Yeah, you didn't know like the whole time.
No,
right?
I had no clue until you showed it off.
Yeah. That was great. We love that. I remember you showed that to me, and I was like, "This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be
People
super
still
fun."
think I made money on that too. People still think I work for Arcade1Up, and people still think I made money on that.
This is true. The only person that made money off of that slightly was Nick's, right? Like, he actually was running a little business. But, I
Yeah,
mean, for the
that's
most part,
all
it was
him.
just kind of like just
That's
getting it
all
out
him.
there with
He designed the hardware, so all the profit went to him for that. I wasn't involved in hardware. I wrote our software, and we didn't sell that. I could have,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
me working for Arcade1Up came up with this too, with this Dragon's Lair thing. There's a Reddit thread. I posted on Reddit saying like, "Hey, we're gonna release this fix soon." And like I told you, I was waiting on a video first, so it's a little bit easier for people. And some guy goes, "It's great. It's great that Arcade1Up is releasing a new method where you don't have to send in your existing PCP. Good news." And I said, "We're not affiliated with Arcade1Up in any way." And he goes, "Totally get it. Wink, wink, nod, nod."
Do you think the fine folks at Arcade1Up would have an issue with this? Do you think that there would ever be a reason?
I don't see
to
why
think
they
it?
would. Like, I think the reason why we didn't get this in this format is because the last time they did it, everybody did dig into the update both times, right? Because it wasn't just pinball. Before that, it was Miss Pac-Man with Nostalgia.
Yeah, they released something else, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so he never did it, and I give him crap for it because Nostalgia said he was going to mod Miss Pac-Man, and it still hasn't happened, and I'm going to keep giving him crap for it. But no, so like that happened to them twice, and I'm sure their partners weren't happy with that because there's got to be some kind of license agreement or something on how they handle these things.
Yeah. And the way that this tool works, I mean, since the whole update is embedded into the tool, like people can't like parse it out from
They
there.
could.
Could they? Could they?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the tool section of the file?
Yeah,
To be
you
able
could
to
open the image with 7-zip if you wanted to, but
Got it. Okay. So it technically is there, but again, I mean, in the end though, the $40 fee was more about like return cost shipping and some like basic labor more than anything. So, right,
yeah.
somebody had to do this, and so
But they could
that's
have.
kind of what it was for.
This is similar to the Miss Pac-Man. It uses the same chipset, like it's a rock chip. So they could have used the same update tool that they used for the Miss Pac-Man update they released. So they were entirely capable of it. I think it just comes down to that file that they don't want out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
As
Ziggy
far as them
D's here
getting
says
mad,
looking forward to CES coverage. Are you joining us at CES? Is that going to be a thing? I keep asking you to come, so
you keep asking everybody to come.
yeah, come. It's fun, man. It'll be good.
No.
Yeah. All right. Stock Talk says about 20 minutes. We're at 80%. Everybody, we just have 20% more to just talk this stuff. We're almost through the chat. His granny plays arcade, so he's talking about you. Is Arcade1Up going to be at CES at all? I don't know. Well, I think even last year, it was like 2 years ago that they did the Casino Cade launch. I don't think they even had even anything to show off at Arcade1Up last year. So I don't think so. I think that's a big fat negative. I would be surprised if they had anybody out there. You literally don't see a difference. You have to play it and experience to know the difference. It's
telling you
like
the attract mode, the coins, man, the coins.
Half-second delay. Like I think in your picture, you said it was like literally 0.3 seconds of a delay, right? Like, is that
no 0.30? Like
0.30. So yeah,
so that's half a second.
0.30 is the delay difference. So it is not a lot of difference for sure. So all right. So but if you play it and you get to that stage, you would definitely hear it and see it for sure. Yeah.
You know, the other thing we still get to, or I see a lot, is people that there's two of them. One is, because you modded this, can I install this APK on it? And we've made it clear we don't touch Android cabinets. So if we release something, it's usually going to be, a Linux one.
Yeah.
So people asked if they could install their Ridge Racer APK on a Fast and the Furious, and it's like, no, it's not an Android cab. And the other one is, this has a micro USB port. Why can't I mod it?
Yes. All the ports, because you can access it. You should be able to mod anything. All right. Jason has a question. Jason Little Avian says, while I'm back here, should people flip the housing for better airflow? Any concerns like with PCBs overheating for anything else besides pinball?
I don't think so. The main PCBs that we've seen overheat are definitely the H6 all winners, where this is rock chip. So people don't need those details, but you have them. So yeah, I don't see this being an issue with heat, because these chips are supposed to be designed to handle heating up. It's just those boards were manufactured poorly.
And if you see, like, these take so much abuse. I literally have mine just like hanging from the wires there, and it's still working. So I mean, I'm not. It takes a lot to hurt these PCBs, I say.
So you know the IDC connector, like the weird gray IDE looking cable?
Mhm.
I have a few pictures of pinball PCBs with me sticking screwdrivers in there to get it to boot. So they're just like a screwdriver, a USB cable, and all this stuff sticking out of the PCB on my
Just to
desk.
get the on button, because you have to use that to
Yeah,
power it on,
so
right?
I'm like
Yeah, yeah.
shorting the pins using a screwdriver. So there's pictures out there somewhere of me like sticking
funny.
a screwdriver in there. So a screwdriver hanging out of the
That's
middle of the
funny.
PCB. And yeah,
Right.
so
Wait,
that
Stock Jock did this live too? He modded it? It was
I don't think he did it live.
Okay.
Him and I were PMing back. MG's just being a troll.
He says you hacked Infinity Game Table. Yes, yes, he did.
MG actually joins the Arcades Anonymous voice chat every once in a while, and me and him go at it.
I read 95%. James hates everything. So put in your last questions because we're going to end the stream soon after this works out. It says, do you sell radiator caps for a 7270 Nova just by chance? Just off chance.
I might know someone that has one, but no, not directly.
Man of all trades. James hates everything will be at CES. That's awesome, James. Let's definitely connect. That'll be fun. So very cool. All right. They're not on the list unless you do something off site. So yeah, I think he's talking about Arcade1Up. Yes. Biggie D wishes he could go, but
what is he talking about? They're not on the list unless you do. Oh,
yes, if like a company. Yeah, if
Yeah.
like so, for example, rumor is, Media 1UP might be present, but they're not on the list there. So expect something for sure. I would say from Media 1UP at an offsite location. That's the news that the home arcade folks are going to want to hear.
It is done.
Yeah, it's done. All right, B likes his PCB flap in the wind. We're done. Okay, excellent. Commando with my PCB. Yes, I do. All right, so if no error is displayed above, we can assume things were installed successfully. So I literally just close this out and then unplug it back in, switch it back to the on position, plug the power back in, flip it on. We're done, right?
Yep, that's it.
Yes. Okay.
As long as you're B, this one's pretty simple. As long as you're not B, I mean.
As long as you're not to be. All right, so I'm going to unplug the cable from my PC.
And as long as you're not half a dozen trying to install these on a Mac.
We're going to move this R up to the front so we can see it in all its glory. Turned on. So switch it back to the on position. And plug in power. And all will be fixed by 0.30 seconds.
So this brings up another question. Should we try to take this further and actually soft mod this thing? Like run some more games?
With more Daphne games?
That or like what about Pac-Man or something? Or like anything that doesn't require many buttons, right? There's one button, 2 buttons.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, now that you actually have the ability to do this portion of it, like I guess the biggest thing people would potentially be interested would be more Daphne titles, right? So it's running Laserdisc games.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be interesting.
I'm not very familiar with what other Daphne titles there are.
Into Dragon's Lair, and we're going to try to look at the home screen, and I'm just going to play a few stages. I'm not going to play all the way through the end to get back to that Daphne stage. So trying to turn off some glare. Hopefully that.
I guess Stock Jock will have to tell me what other Daphne games there are.
Yeah, please. That would be fun. There'd be a couple of them. All right, we're looking at the track mode. Where's the coin? It's coming up soon?
Yeah. That. Somewhere around there, the coin.
Oh, yeah.
The actions of a daring adventurer finding his way through the castle of a dark.
All right.
So when those coins go off, there's a few coins in the attract mode, and I feel like those are very noticeable.
Yeah. Let's see how long I can play. I only have 3 lives right now. So it's back to stock. I guess at stock you start with 3 lives.
Oh no, I
there
reset
it goes.
that
It's
way.
the whirlpools. Oh, what? I pressed right. Come on. All right, I'm also at an angle too. So, how much do you memorize this? Are you good at this?
No, I suck at this. Dragon's Lair is one of those things where
Listen to the ball crashing too on the marble. It's more instinct. I think that used to be off as well. Like when the ball hits the actual marble.
yeah, I see it.
That's another good stage. So yeah, it looks good. All right.
I can never make it past that part.
Oh, all right. Down to 1 life left. All right. Let's see if I remember this stage. Sword. Sword. Left. Sword. And sword.
Could you imagine having to pay for this in the arcade and only having 3 lives?
Yeah, I hated this in arcade. I had no idea what I was doing.
So I had to be 8 or 9. My dad took me to an arcade to play this. And we went through $1 in like less than probably 2 minutes. So needless to say, I suck at this.
Right. Yes. Up.
James, at this arcade, they had it set to like 25 cents, I think.
Right. Oh no! I forgot. All right, that stage is tough. It was like that's the longest stage right there. All right. Anyways, I thought it worked out pretty well. So
Yeah.
what do you think? Like, are you happy with the final mod? Do you think this is going to be doable for the community?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be easy for them so they don't have to disconnect things and
Yeah.
all that jazz.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that live demo. Again, it takes about 20 minutes once you get the PCB connected to your PC. That's the hardest part, right? I was just fumbling around. That's why it took so long. And then you just have to wait 20 minutes, turn it back on, and you're ready to roll. So that's it. Any final thoughts, Mr. Encoder, that you want to share with the community, things you have coming up next?
I mean, so look forward to Big Buck and Dmod says Blitzmiss. I'm not going to talk for him, but hopefully before the end of the month. I was going to say before Christmas, but before the end of the month in case he has issues. And then I don't know if you guys want to see more of a soft mod on this. Just let me know what might be good on it. Like if it's more Laserdisc games or if maybe Pac-Man.
Half a dozen says Time Gal, Mad Dog McCree, but that's like a shooting game, so like you can't really do shooting on it. There's a couple of games where I think you can move. So Stock Chuck says, yeah, more Daphne games.
But if main games would work on this too, like if people think that's a good idea for things that only require one button or just the joystick, we could always look into that too.
You know what we need on here? Obviously, with the one joystick, we need some Pac-Man and Galaga on here. I mean,
well, that's what I was thinking. Like Pac-Man, Galaga, Donkey Kong, maybe.
No. Don't want any of that on here. Actually,
no, Donkey Kong's one button, man.
I know, but it's a Dragon's Lair cabinet. Like I'd rather have games that match the theme of the cabinet from modding perspective than a multi-cade. Like if you're gonna do it like straight Laserdisc Daphne games.
That makes sense.
I wouldn't do anything else like from Pac-Man Galaga stuff.
Someone's mad about that. They said maybe mod something that's still made.
Yeah. Okay.
They're a little mad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, maybe Dragon Gamer. All right. Well, thanks again, Mr. Encoder. Good work. Appreciate you making this available for the entire community. Oh, did I just take you off? Oh, there you are.
Maybe you did. You don't like very much.
All right. So that's it. Thanks again. Check out team-encoder.com after this. It'll probably be updated shortly later today sometime.
Yeah.
I'll get their hands on this. Okay. And then I probably will make a cleaner version of this for folks that want to see a non-live demo version. That's a shorter version, but thanks again.
Apparently you do this too fast.
This was so fast and entertaining to chat with you for the last 52 minutes. So, all right. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Later.